Hey everyone, my name's Nate, and today I'll be talking about the Bad Boys Python seat for the 2024 End-Up Road Glides and Street Glides. I haven't seen much content out yet about these seats, so I just wanted to share some thoughts. I've had it for about a month, a little over 2,000 miles, and so far I'm really liking it. So I want to give you guys some comparisons, talk about some other seats that I've tried, and help you make a decision. And I've tried all kinds of seats from the Sundowner to the Harley-Davidson switchback seat, which I'll put an image up here. Not a bad seat. I'll talk about it a bit more towards the end. I've had Saddlemen step-up seats. In the past, I did an iron butt challenge on a 2014 stock Street Glide seat. So just had some good experience trying different seats in my time. And so far, the Bad Boys Python really impressed me in terms of comfort, looks. Um, I was able to take a 4-day trip riding on the Python, which included 500 miles each way. Headed down to Las Vegas to do some sightseeing and take part in an advanced riders course. So, got to ride around the area, check out Red Rock Canyon, about a 200-mile day while I was down there. And then the following day, I took part in that 9-hour course. That was an all day in the saddle type of rider course, and the seat held up really well. At no point did I feel sore. Was I dreading getting back on the bike? And that's what I want out of a seat because I want to ride longer. The more comfortable that I am, the longer that I'll ride. And that's why I was really looking for something just like this Python for my 2024 Road Glide. Overall, the build quality is very nice. The seat is heavy, but feels solid. The stitching is nice. The pan feels well built. The insert where your tank goes is metal compared to plastic, unlike other seats. Overall, looks and feels great on the bike, in my opinion. When I first got the seat, I will say I was a little worried about the fitment on the bike. It just felt a little loose. You could really kind of rock it up and down, but that seemed to have just been a break-in thing. The seat is nice and tight on the bike now. It doesn't move. It used to kind of lift like this, so if you get your seat and it's like that, don't worry. It should break in. I think the pan just needs to mold to the bike. It doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Overall, it's rock solid. Doing some measurements here. At the widest point, the seat is about 15 inches wide, which from what I know is the widest seat, at least in my research that I've seen. If not, it's definitely one of the wider seats at 15 inches. Makes for a very comfortable sitting area. It's tapered at the front here, so it's comfortable to put your feet down at a stop. That's the main problem with super wide feet. When they sort of come out all the way up to the tank, it's very uncomfortable to put your feet down. So they solve this problem with an aggressive taper, but you don't really feel like you're missing anything without any area up here or here. In terms of back support without the backrest, you get about 5 inches, a little over 5 inches here of back support. Gives you a nice locked in feeling. Taking a look at the width of the passenger section of the seat, at the widest area towards the back, it's right under 12 inches. It's about 2 inches wider than the stock seat, and they also do a little bit of a taper here towards the front to give them some leg room at about 10 inches. The stock seat was pretty comfortable for her, but this has been much better, and we've done some fairly long days on it so far, and she's been really happy with the upgrade. There's a couple of reasons I really like this backrest. The first is how easy it is to take in and out. So if you don't feel like riding with it on, you could easily come in here, grab it, pull it out, and throw it in your saddlebag. Now you have two height options when it comes to the backrest. This is the first option. It's fairly high. Now you could drop it one level lower by dropping it into the second insert. You gotta kind of push it and they'll click into place. And that's your second option. That's how I've been riding it. Now you can adjust how close and how far it is to your back using this knob.
Now, it is pretty easy to adjust while you're riding, so you can make some tweaks throughout the day without having to stop. And it also has a nice little storage pouch for your passenger to put their phone, their wallet, you know, whatever they might need in here. In terms of adjustments, you have, you know, 3 options. You have the height, you have distance, so you can go forward or backwards using this knob to adjust how far back the backrest is. But then you also have the angle of the pad. You can lift it up a little bit. You can make it flat just by pushing it. You have an adjustment here at the top. So in my opinion, the main thing you want to consider when taking a look at this seat and standard or extended is not only your height, right? A standard reach seat, this is a standard, right? I'll show you measurements here in a moment. An extended reach shaves about 2 inches here, from here to here. And that space does come from your passenger's room here. So just depending on if you're gonna have a passenger or not, and the size of your passenger, you may lose too much room here. So when you have the backrest, your passenger has about 10 inches of space, right, on a standard reach seat. On an extended reach, you basically have to get rid of these 2 inches here, and they push this portion back a little. So they end up with about 8.5, maybe, inches of room, which would be way too short, way too small for my passenger. So that's something you want to consider, is passenger comfort as well. I don't think that I could get away with the backrest and a passenger on an extended reach. So when you're looking at 19 inches from the front of the seat to the back of the seat, that's essentially about how far back the seat's gonna go. It might be something like 18.5, but it's pretty far back there. Now, in comparison to the stock seat, I'm gonna try to kind of show you guys using the front of the tank to the top of the backrest. You can see it's about 16 inches, right? Using this measurement, this seat goes up further onto the tank than the stock seat. So that's kind of where you're getting your 17, but that's what the measurement is gonna be for your standard reach. Now, I'm about 6'1". I have about a 30 to 31 inch inseam, and this seat is perfect for me. I actually had the opportunity to sit on the extended reach, which puts your backrest about here, and it was just way too far back for me using my thrashing bars, 9.5 inch with the mid bends, 1 inch extension. I was still reaching forward, which I didn't like in terms of comfort. For a quick frame of reference, now my bike is resting on a jack. I'm not gonna move it for the sake of this comparison. So these aren't gonna line up with your measurements, but you're at about 29 inches off the ground here for my measurement at the lowest point of the seat. So taking a look at the stock seat now in comparison to the Python, a couple measurements that are important. One is the edge of the tank to the back of the seat. It's about 14 inches. So that's about 2 inches closer in comparison to the Python. It doesn't feel that drastic, but that's something to consider, that the Python will put you a hair back compared to the stock seat. So in this case here, going from tank to the top, it's about 14 inches. Now width-wise, really at the widest point in terms of usable space here, you're looking at about 13 inches, which is about 2 inches narrower than the Python seat. So it's a little wider, a little further back. You have a little bit more room. Now, the other thing that I want to just point out on this seat is sort of this bowl style. This is about as low as a seat can get on these bikes. I'm not sure if there are seats that could put you lower. I would be surprised, but you can see really that bowl shape that I was talking about compared to the Python, which is more of a flat, wide surface area and more of a pronounced backrest. The other factors with the stock seat is just the passenger room, if that's a factor for you. So you can see here that there's a little bit less in terms of length when it comes to passenger space compared to the Python. This seat is also narrower, right, than the Python. So in terms of passenger comfort, And just feedback that I've gotten from my passenger, the Python is a big upgrade for them as well. Now, comparing the seat height, I have not changed the position of my bike on this lift. You'll notice that at the lowest point of the seat, it's at about right at 28 inches, compared to 29 for the Python. Now, one other difference I just wanted to point out in terms of the Python seat is how much further it comes up the tank to right about here compared to your stock seat. Now, both seats have a little bit of this gap in between your frame, some of the bike parts, and the tank. So I'm not really sure there's anything you could do about that. That's not a Bad Boys problem. I think that's just a Road Glide thing. I do like how much coverage the Python gives you in terms of the tank, and the Fitment does feel more solid. This one does move a little bit. Overall, I don't think that you'll be disappointed if you give the Python a shot. I've tried so many different seats, and this one has honestly set the new standard for me. I was really hoping I was gonna find a seat for this bike that I could ride all day long. It would look good. My passenger would like it. I just get tired of switching seats on and off the bike, and I feel like for a new Road Glide, you want something that checks all the boxes.
If you made it this far, please subscribe to my channel for some more Road Glide content, a like and a comment, and ride safe out there.